So as a player, I tend to be drawn more towards the bruiser class of champions, hence why I'm a top laner. I enjoy the class the most, therefore I play the role that the most prevalent or relevant in is top lane. So today I thought I would do a little bit of a different review because I haven't really done a review on a champion that isn't outside the bruiser sort of class and the ones that I typically watch. This is Kuba Singed. I'm going to have his Twitch in the bio and his Twitter. I think he has a Twitch. I'm going to have his Twitter in the bio. He's currently 1400 LP, has peaked at 1500 LP this season, currently sitting at rank 5 playing Singed. This champion can seem like one of the most underwhelming champions in the entire game. Upon initial arrival to the lane, he kind of just stands there and farts on you until the minions die, and then nothing really happens until the mid game and the late game. So we're going to be trying to analyze this guy's gameplay. I don't really watch Singed players, and I don't really know their strategies, and I don't really know how they work, other than like proxying. He is against the new reworked Olaf, so we're going to get to see how he handles this lane as well. Obviously, it's like a pretty tricky sort of thing when you haven't played against a champion. Obviously, Olaf's kit's essentially brand new because he hasn't played against the rework Olaf yet. So we have the Predator set up on the side of the Singed with Ghost and Flash. Pretty standard sort of stuff. You can also go Ghost TP on Singed. I've seen TP Ignite, Ghost. Pretty much anything works on Singed. We do see the refillable pots with Boots 1, very interestingly enough. Obviously, we're going to be taking the Boots 1 here so that Predator can be used earlier on in the game. From what I understand, Singed is very strong at playing the map and flicking people on the tower. Oh my god, is this a solo kill? They're just going to run at each other. Did he just kill this Olaf? There's no way this Olaf lives here. Oh my gosh. Bro, what have I just watched? How far was that fling? What? I literally didn't even know that was so... He gets flung from like this minion under the tower. What? We need to watch this again. Watch this. What? Back there under the tower and he's just dead. Holy moly. Alright. So, Singed being such a scaling sort of champion, one that performs really well in the mid to late game, he gets a lot of free stats from his ult. Obviously getting a kill against a lane bully like Olaf so early on in the game is very less than optimal. So, if we break down this early like sort of laning phase, I'll jump back a little bit, but we'll also go forwards too. So, I'll skip forward as well to even before the laning phase. So we see Singed at level 1. He walks up to the wave, he lets Olaf get prio. He wants Olaf to push into him. That's literally the entire way that Singed was able to pick up first blood there, was that Olaf pushed into the Singed. The Singed saw a spacing error or a positioning error, he capitalized on it, flung him under the tower, he gets first blood. If Singed had gone willy-nilly, gone into the wave, started like press Q and like walk through all the minions and whatever, and started to thin the wave and push the wave towards the Olaf, that kill wouldn't have even been possible. So he obviously has some sort of game plan in place, and this is probably something that he plays against a lot. Furthermore, you don't really want to be playing long lane against a champion like Olaf that can just perma-slow you with his Q and thrives on extended trades. You want to be playing where they're really, it's like, kind of like puts them in a bit of a risk to walk up in CS because they're going to have to walk close to the tower where obviously you can kill. He also wards there as well just to see if Gwen is going to come for the dive. Pretty unlikely considering Gwen has Ghost, but either way, no Ignite as well. We'll skip it up and we'll go back towards where we're up to. So we're going to reset the wave here, or look to reset the wave. Obviously, he's pretty We got to pick up the Boots of Swiftiness, first item with the Ruby Crystal. Obviously, the Ruby Crystal giving a lot of tankiness, but the Boots of Swiftiness should mean he never really dies to Olaf. I quite like this purchase as well because Olaf's Q slows, and Swiftiness is going to give him a lot of that slow resistance, so he should really never die to Olaf again, considering both of Olaf's summoners are down. We let the wave come back into us again. Obviously, we didn't get any combat stats from our buy, so we still do have to be quite careful with this Olaf. As we see Magifelix taking down the jungle Talon. Never a good thing to see when your jungler dies to a gank bot lane. Kind of sucks. He also has Rekkles on his team as well. Very interesting. So we're going to be able to see how he carries the ADC King himself. Level 5, level 4 Singed. It's interesting as well because he doesn't play... like proxy or anything. Like he's not really doing any of like those really weird Singed strategies that you see. Like they'll go proxy at like level 3 or whatever. Everything he's done so far has been pretty stock standard for a top laner. Just checking his Krugs there for his jungler. Walk back to lane. Olaf looks pretty content on just pushing the wave permanently under the tower against his Singed. But that being said, he can just fling him here and tell him to come for the gank. So Olaf does have to be quite careful. We are seeing, like, look, this guy's flings into the tower are so nice. He's got this technique down pat. I mean, realistically, you're not going to hit 1500 LP playing Singed without getting those like small little niche mechanics down, right? 31 CS to the side of 40 to the Olaf. Map's looking pretty stable. Talon could come for a gank here. Olaf looks like he wanted to reset because I don't think he had pots for it, or maybe he'd used them already. Singed also has really good shove too because of his Q, obviously. You also notice one thing as well, he's also actively last hitting with his melees, his melee autos, so he's not actually going to try to get the last hit with his Q. It's a bit more inconsistent, so something you should pick up if you play Singed. Obviously actively look to last hit the minions with your auto attacks. We go Ruby Crystal into Amptome. Shove the wave in again. Level 6 hit. Going to be pretty hard to kill him now. Singed obviously gets a lot of stats from his level 6. Which is just kind of like... He's kind of one of those champions that's sort of too tanky to focus down. But like, does enough damage to be really annoying still. Like, he's too fast and too slippery and too tanky to like really have to focus. Or really want to even focus in team fights. But he's still just going to be a pest. Like, once he gets that Riley Scepter and he's just predatoring all over your team, like, he can literally just run through the enemy team and fling this Jhin back into the enemy. Like, they don't really have much CC. I actually don't really see a way. Like, Singed into this comp is really nice because you don't have any stun on Olaf, Gwen, Corki. Jhin obviously can hit his W, but it has to be set up. Swain only has that, like, pullback thing. But if he uses that on Singed, like Singed can just keep running and then like Talon and Vlad both have access to the backline. So it's really not the best spend of that one ability. I mean, he's got a lot to do with that one ability. But let's just kind of see how he makes this pick work. Obviously a really optimal comp to be taking Singed into. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just runs over this game completely. Obviously he knows kind of like what fights to look for as Singed. As we cast the Predator here, Gwen looks to have been picked off. Maybe dies to the poison. We're not sure yet. He'll still pick up one. He's so fast still actually. Goes to the fling there. Gwen will fall. So we see any look like in this situation, it was basically any overextension, and Singed could see a window there because we know Gwen doesn't have flash. Any window where he can pick up a kill, he just predated straight at them with Swifty Boots, and especially at this stage of the game where not really many people have. Boots 2, like the only Boots 2 on the map are the Jhin, which obviously goes Swifty Boots first 2, and the Ionian Boots of Lucidity on the Swain. Those are pretty common for those two champions to rush, but other than that, there's no other Boots 2 on the map other than Singed Swifty Boots, so if you see someone out of position and you have an item advantage like that, you're definitely going to be able to catch them. We take the reset here, looking very strong so far, 72 CS at 9 minutes 50 seconds. The Giant's Belt, sorry, slow down this there. The Giant's Belt picked up with the Blasting Wand as well. Let's see what other working make. He's got a blue buff as well, so he could be really putting the pressure on this Olaf here. I really don't think he's Olaf is strong enough to just kill this Singed either. As we see Talon ganking here. Olaf flashes away. Olaf must be taking sorcery too because his Nimbus Cloak just procs. I think Singed is like those Swifties just like completely negate Olaf's Q. Really nice like kind of kiting around his ability there. And I really like his little sticky pull placement, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. He does those really well. It's like a really good like little utility thing. Making really good use of his movement speed and the boots too. We're just going to look for the reset here. I think Talon's just going to stall it out. We have Corki top, but Vlad will be getting stuff mid as well, which is quite nice. So not the worst. Talon actually gets the execute, which is massive. Demonic Embrace picked up first with the Boots of Swiftness. This Singed is absolutely colossal. As bot lane dies again. Just standard stuff as a top laner, really just watching your bot lane die on repeat. Had some bad games today. My bot lanes, bro, are so rough. Doesn't matter if you solo kill lane 2 or 3 times. If your bot lane comes out and they're 0-6, your lead is completely nullified. And you're going to get exhausted and you're going to lose. But Singed looks like the type of champion that could kind of carry into that. He just runs really fast to ADC, flings him back. It's basically like Elysian Insect, but not as mechanical. And you can't really prevent it because Singed just runs at you with 7 billion movement speed. Push the wave in here. Olaf has no summoners. Still has the ultimate ability though. Let's see if the Singed... I actually think Singed can probably just fight in here. He puts the ult on straight away, which kind of just like lets us know he's so confident he's in his limits. Also, another thing to notice, he plays it very smart because we know with the new Olaf ult, it can go at an infinite duration if he just keeps hitting you. But if Singed just ults and then runs away, Olaf obviously has nothing to hit, so his ult finishes so fast. So he literally just falls immediately to Singed. Singed could push another wave here because it's not a regular wave. I mean, it's not a cannon wave, it's a regular wave. So obviously he could have pushed it a bit quicker, but we didn't know where Gwen was. Gwen was actually on the bottom side of the map, but we couldn't see her. Another Blasting Wand. a fight happening bot. We'll just skip it up a little bit, go a little bit further. Obviously, we're just going to shove here. Olaf going to attend the top wave now. Let's look to get some plates. Level 10 to level 9, 100 CS to 106. Olaf still keeping himself in the game quite well, despite dying 3 times. This looks like the sort of situation as well where we can start to proxy. So the whole idea behind the Singed proxy strategy is we really don't want to be interacting. Like, Singed is typically quite a weak laner. He literally had to use the tower to get that solo kill on Olaf. We don't really want to be interacting with the enemy champion, which is typically why you go proxy. It just gives you, basically, it's going to give you 6 CS of every wave. You're not going to miss any last hits. The enemy champion can't really attend you until jungler comes and helps, because they're just going to be missing. You'll deny yourself XP and gold. And when we do this as well, we can start to pressure and like look to take jungle camps, look to take vision as well. And we even have a flank on the Olaf here. Olaf has ghost. Pops the predator. Still doing a lot of damage. Like, look how fast. Wow, talent almost falls. Yeah, this Olaf's still quite strong. I've only played against the new Olaf twice top, and I beat it both times. I'm going to assume that the guy who was playing it, he was GM, but I'm going to assume that he doesn't really know how to play the new Olaf. He was probably just like limit testing it. But he can be very oppressive on his head. Picks up the Stride Breaker. Kind of not a bad idea, but at the same time, like if Singe's got those Swifties and ult movement speed and Ghost, he's not really going to be slowed down by a whole lot. Even Stride Breaker. 5-0 on the side of this Singe. 6-8. He literally has like 66% of his kills almost. Is that right? 60 or 70%? Something like that. Pretty close. When I go to base, we have pretty much full HP, and it's a regular wave. Let's just push it in. Might as well take the wave where we can. 125 CS at 15 minutes, doing very, very well. 5-0 with a 500 gold shutdown. It's going to be very hard to shut down for the enemy team because they have no CC at all. Let's continue to see what he does. So as you see here, he pushed a regular wave and then he gets to pick up a cannon wave there. Because of the cannon wave, he only loses 2 minions because the minions get eaten and then it starts to hit the cannon and you just get back to lane in time for the cannon. So you should always try to base on cannon waves if you can help it. They're just better. It's just better. Just get in the habit of doing it. If you see it's a regular wave, just stay. Unless obviously you have to base. Like, don't be silly about your base timings. But if you can, just stay for that extra wave. You'll lose a tiny bit, little bit less. It's just those small little differences that'll make the big difference. Speed up. We're just hitting the tower. We have Olaf that's actually left. He came back after a fight. Push the cannon wave. Could look to even take the tower now. Stride Breaker though. Like you can see, Stride Breaker's got such a powerful slow, but he still just walks straight out of it. This comp that they're fighting into as well is very good for Vladimir also. They don't really have any disable for Vlad. Gwen is still very strong. Singe not even having to ult here, I don't think. Can just put his little pull down. Stop the Gwen completely. Very good. Just look for the base here. He's obviously proxied the wave, so Olaf has nothing to push the tower with. Nothing really on the map at the moment, honestly. They can kind of just look to farm. Still 5-0. 3-0 on the side of Magifelix Jin though. Does anyone I don't want to be 3-0? It's Magifelix's talent finally falls to the Olaf after fighting the Olaf like 100 times. He actually dies eventually. Olaf doing a really good job at keeping himself in the game though. Still very relevant. 155 CS. Singe just has to base here as well. He does have resources to use, but he's very low HP. One thing I'm noticing a lot about this guy is he has to base a lot because Singe does no self-sustain and no way to keep himself on the map. If he fights once, he has to base basically straight away. Those Swifties help him get back to lane though. Let's skip it up. Keep going. Take this wave. Olaf will take the base here. Now it's going to look to get pretty juicy because we have a dragon spawning. So we see Singe rotate down to the dragon. We have a nice little flank on the Jin here. He's actually in a bit of a choke. Let's see how this fight eventuates. Doesn't preemptively cast ult or ghost. We're just putting pressure. Gwen does pick up the dragon though. Pretty unlucky. 2 dragons inside the blue team, 12 to 10. Let's see how Singed can translate this to a win. 1400 LP. Take notes, boys and girls. I spoke to him directly and he said, he was like, oh, it just seemed like kills fell into my lap. And I just kept getting solo kills somehow. And then all of a sudden I was really ahead. And that's just kind of how the game went. And I was like, okay. Hey, you do you, man. If you can get ahead in lanes to Singed, you're doing a good job. Take the side wave, a little bit of a fight breaking out here. This is where Singed could be really strong. Because the fight's already broken out. We see him ghosting on the back line with 7 billion MS. Magifelix having to use Gale Force. As soon as he gets flung, look at that HP burning down. Heal already used, Gale Force already used. Does have flash. Uses the flash there. This Singed is just relentless. Just like that, there's literally nothing that they can do. That's just the way it goes. There's literally nothing that they can do. He used absolutely everything to get away, and he was strong too. Big shutdown. Singed didn't even have to use flash. Shows a lot of composure, not burning anything unnecessarily. Olaf's still in the game though. Black Cleaver and Stridebreaker picked up on Olaf. 3 and 5. We do see how far of a deficit his bot lane is behind the enemy bot lane. Obviously their tier 2's gone already. Ezreal's still quite strong, but their Karma's 0 and 5, which leaves a big hole in the bottom side of the map. Ezreal as well got to farm solo for a while, so he's level 12 to Jin's level 11. Jin obviously having no summoners now would be a really good time to fight, because Singed, once he has ult and flash, he literally just runs at this Jin, gets his Gale Force, then flashes on him, flings him, and then he's back into the enemy team, and then that's most of their damage gone. That being said, this Gwen is still quite strong. So still a lot of work to do before the game's back in our hands. 4k gold lead to the side of the blue team, even though Jin just fell that fight. We have Corki bot lane, Talon basing. We have a nice little flank here. We pop the ult. We're back on the Jin again. Cut off by the Gwen. See, like, you just look at the enemy team. Like, he's still 60% HP, but the entire enemy team is 50. Jin will fall. Oh, he sees the opening there and just flashes straight back on the Jin. Really nice, kiting them around. 1k shutdown over to the Talon. All of that fight was purely dictated because Singed had burned Jin's flash before. We know we have an opening there. That's why he rotated up to fight. And we pick up the big shutdown on both the Gwen and the, Jin had already gotten his shutdown taken, but we pick up the fight there, very decisive, swinging the gold. Still a 4k lead inside the blue team though, definitely not over yet, but this Singed is absolutely massive, picking up another spike item in his Riley's. One of the biggest items that you can play with as Singed, obviously giving that consistent dot slow in team fights just makes it so hard to fight against. He's just so tanky and he does so much damage. Null Magic Mantle here. Probably because Corki's like mostly AP as well as Gwen as well as Swain. And Olaf's not really fighting him. We do see Magifelix fall. So we're going to look to fling someone here. Ooh, he's taking a bit of damage. This Gwen doing the true damages here. Ooh, dodging abilities. Yeah, very well played. Love to see it. Just ran through the enemy team really. Those are the sort of fights where it's just getting to the stage where Vlad's getting his power spikes. Singed is still enormous. And there's just, I don't really have any answer to it. Because there's just no CC on the enemy team. Olaf doing a good job at splitting though. Maybe he looks to fight the Singed here. I don't think he can though. I think Riley's will just perma slow him. Fling. Oh, he'll just die eventually, I think. So let's see what happens here. Maybe he can kill him. Oh, big shutdown by Olaf. Very well played. Ghost and flash out. They do pick up the Baron though. Well played by Olaf. I'm really impressed with this Olaf's gameplay. He's just done a really good job at like maintaining composure and like, yeah, he made a couple of silly mistakes early, but like the fact that he has more CS than Singed, who was literally proxying as well as like he was 0 and 3 and now he's 4 and 5 and he's picked up 2 big shutdowns and he's still doing a lot of work as a top laner, guys. This is what you kind of like want to aspire to be because yeah, he lost lane and Singed is probably outperforming him, but at the same time he's still doing a fairly decent amount of work considering how far behind he was. Still really tanky. And this is Talon full, yep. Big shutdown onto Corki. Vlad picks up the Olaf though. There was a bit of a shutdown on the Olaf there. This is a very close game, very enjoyable to watch. I'm really enjoying this. I'm glad I picked this VOD. Really, really enjoyable. This Vlad's huge as well. Zwira is a very consistent mid laner. Singed respawns. We have the Winged Moonplate and the, what is that called? What is this item? Negatron Cloak, I knew that. So we're looking to go into the Force of Nature now. Obviously giving more movement speed as well as mixed resistances. Very, very strong. Olaf does pick up the Death Stance though, almost an equally strong, as we pick up level 16 as well, almost an equally strong spike. Corki doing a lot of damage, half HP Singed there. As I said before, we're going to have to base. There was no ward there, Corki just did that blind. What a unit. Alright, this Corki's getting a bit too big for his boots. Let's see if we can take him down. Dodging these rock, ooh, lovely little side steps here, dodging these abilities. Singed's ult lasts like 20 seconds by the way, it's only just gone past half duration. If we had any summoners to use there, we could have flashed him, but we'll save it for a more important fight, I feel. Push this wave out, get a little bit more pressure. Take some camps. 245 CS, take another one. Oh, bit of a fight happening here. I better rewind that, didn't see what happened. So we do take the camps, Corki answers the wave. So Talon, this is a good little bit of foresight from Talon because he sees that the wave has to be answered by Corki, so he just flanks around the back there. Corki does his best to get away, but no summoners. We fling. We floop. Corki falls. Lovely gameplay. Smart from the Talon, specifically. Oh, even more of a fight happening. Dude, I just think nothing's going to happen and then people will start dying and I skip past it. We're just pushing the wave here. I think Karma gets caught or something. Someone gets caught. Yep, Karma gets sucked in by Swain and then Gwen. Gwen's ghosted as well, so she probably looks to want to continue this. She probably won't be able to catch though. Riley's is just impossible. to fight against. Alright, we reset. This is like high elo EOS game, by the way. Really high elo game. 19 to 23, but they do have the soul condition on the table. This Singed is massive. 10, 1, and 3. Level 17. Talon falling to the Olaf. Vlad will pick up the Olaf. Very good. Did I say that right? Vlad falling to the Olaf? No, Talon falling to the Olaf. Olaf will fall to Vlad. Sorry. My mistake. Looks like Olaf's going to go into Force of Nature now as well. 5 and 7, 261. Singed 258, level 17. Maybe we look to fling this guy. Does have flash, but I feel like once he's in this rut, like, look how fast this Singed is. Oh my lord! How do you literally play against this? That's like GG basically. All their wave clear's gone. Olaf's still dead for another 20 seconds. We flip this guy's 5 levels down. Support Swain can do nothing. 11, 1, and 5 Singed, just leading the way for his team. Very, very well played. This is the sort of Singed you're scared of. Gwen just doing true damage. No worries, mate. But no worry, just phase Gwen, sniping people. Holy shit. That was kind of sick, I'm not going to lie. I want to watch that again. God, this champion is so strong at the moment. Bloop. And bloop. Damn, I didn't realize that ult went so fast. That was really, really far. Alright, on to the next. Oh, there's actually probably a bit of a contest happening here. We will take the dragon off the side, so a little bit of pressure relieved. No soul point back on the map. Just following this Gwen around until the Singed is back alive. Push mid for the prio, clear out some vision. Go to take some camps, probably put some more vision down. Still getting mid lane prio. Gwen looking for a pick. Maybe can get it in the middle of a fight here. Singed is back alive though. They have to be very careful not to overcommit. 9, 3, and 1 inside of the Gwen. Singed does have flash, does have ult, and Swain back leading the way. Like, can you imagine if you're this Jhin? You can do nothing. This guy just eats you up. Oh, all 3 are in the Rileys now. Oh, bloops the Corky. He can't move. What an absolute menace this Singed is. The entire enemy team falls. That will surely be GG. Clean 5-0 led the way by the Singed. 13, 2, and 7 in probably one of the highest elo games I've seen in a long time. I know most of these players are like well above 1000 LP. Very, very well played. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a subscription. Would be greatly appreciated. I loved casting this gameplay for you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching it just as much as I enjoyed casting it. I'll see you guys in the next video. You have a great day, afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. I'll see you later. Bye.